Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Arsi as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we got ourselves a track on the screen from an act named Sinead O'Connor titled Nothing Compares to You. Now, this is the first time I've listened to Sinead O'Connor. I haven't really listened to her music before. I think this is a live one. I can see her official music videos, 431 million plays. My understanding is that Sinead passed away earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken, but it appears that she has a dedicated fan base who loved and appreciated her work very much, so it's great that she had that legacy to leave behind. And we're going to listen through this track from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Nothing compares to you. When was this recorded, I wonder?
It's been several hours since you took your love away. I'm gone every night and sleep all day since you took your love away.
I mean, it's kind of surreal. It's such an interesting vibe and atmosphere with those strings, the vocal style here, the keys coming in.
Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see every choose. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing can take away this blues, 'cause nothing compares to you.
Oh, charming. Such phenomenal stage presence. The crowd's loving it, man.
It's been so long without you, like a burning out songs. Nothing can stop these lonely tears from falling. Tell me, baby, where did I go wrong? I can put my arm around every boy I see. They remind me. I went to the doctor and guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, girl, you better try to have fun no matter what you do. But here, fool, 'cause nothing compares to you.
I mean, I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to interpret this. I can tell that's great vocal technique. It's just so unique and original. I don't think I've seen a musician like this on stage. It's a state of flow. Sinead is just off on her own world, and the rest of the band, with that consistent eighth note groove with the 16ths, the constant whole note strings, and the cute little piano motif behind it. It's a really interesting combination. Or is it fourths? It could be quarters.
All the flowers that you planted, mama, in the backyard, all lighting you with. I know that
Great use of staccatos there, or the accents. I mean, I think it's just the authenticity of the vocal performance as well. Evident that we're struggling with the situation we're in, you know, realizing that we can live our life the way we want it to without this person in it. We have that freedom, but it's almost like we want to be back in the cage. Interesting jacket. Great. Awesome. Excellent. Great use of a time fill to illustrate a change. Oh, was that it? Holy crap, that felt like 5 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes. What am I doing with my life? And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Sinead O'Connor titled Nothing Compares to You. Now, I still don't think I've heard this track before, and it surprises me because it's a hell of a tune. The song, I think, is pretty straightforward, and you know, you can kind of get where she's coming from. Like, I think she realized she was in the blues and she went to a doctor about it, and the doctor was like, you've just got to go have some fun. But then she just realizes, no, the doctor, you're wrong. There's just no way I can be good unless I get back with you, you know, like that, or like nothing compares to you. This life, it's a love song, but it's kind of like it's got a twist. It's got a bit of a twist in it. I kind of appreciate the fact that we're not just doing a traditional typical, oh, I feel sad because you're not here thing. It's someone actively trying to move past that loss that they're feeling, they're experiencing, they're going through it. And I'm sure it's something that a lot of people in the crowd will relate to. Hell, a lot of the best music is stuff you can relate to. So I think that the story that's being told here, whether you have heard it for the first time or you're very familiar with the song, it was one that'll resonate with a lot of people. And it's no surprise to me that it is this popular and that it is that successful. I understand why Sinead O'Connor was a successful musician. The vocal performance in Sinead in general was spectacular. I have to be honest, she was a hell of a front woman, and just the way that she's just totally herself on stage. Like, I don't think she's needing to be anyone else but speaking her own truth, living her own, journey. Just the way she carries herself with that microphone stand, all the different vocal runs and patterns and little kind of squeaky high-end parts as well. The power behind it, knowing to go further away from the microphone if she's going to get louder, it illustrates an understanding of vocal technique. Very comfortable in her head and chest voice, so comfortable in fact that she's just kind of doing whatever the hell she wants beyond the fundamentals and intermediate stages there. It's just very impressive to not only be able to sing well, but also to be able to illustrate a dramatic performance that really makes the most of the audio-visual spectacle of it all. When you've got a stage and you've just got musicians on it, that should be enough. And this is something that I think Sinead capitalizes on, because when she sings, it just sounds like it's so painful for her. And that's really important, because if you are creating music, you cannot afford to phone it in when it's stuff that is this heavy with subject matter, because no one's going to believe it. But we can believe Sinead when she's talking about this because of the way she kind of flutters and kind of almost stumbles over her words occasionally, not because she's doing a terrible job, she's doing a great job, but it's because it's difficult to get some of these words out. The vibrato, some of the bits of frailty and some of the quieter bits there before just kind of slamming it out. There's range there. It's really sensational vocal performance. Very, very happy with it. I'm glad I got the opportunity to listen to it and watch it. Outside of the incredible vocal performance and the story that we have, this track is 5.5 minutes. Now, I was previously reviewing some music. I was listening to it and I was thinking, is this really the length that it needs to be in order for it to be the best it can be? Because I was listening to some music and it was like 4.5 minutes. And it's like, is this benefiting the experience for the listener to have it this long? There is repetition of the hook line, but it's given in different ways in different stages each time, and there are little interlude bits, and there's enough storyteller happening in the verse to kind of allow us to have a bit more time to really appreciate that motif there. There is variety within the performance itself instrumentally as well. There are some highlights for me, including the keys. I think the keys, the drum parts as well, and the strings. Those are the dominant ones for me personally. The keys were such a beautiful backing here, where they were so subtle but at the same time were such a nice equalizer to some of the more intense parts of what Sinead was doing. It's kind of providing a backdrop of a little bit of sadness, but almost like it's very bittersweet, because it is a bittersweet situation. You realize maybe you are even better off with that person, but you're not, because of how they made you feel. Nothing compares to you. But the string parts as well, there is a sense of glory and nostalgia I have for some reason hearing those strings just the whole time. They were constant. Sometimes I suppose they would peter out and things are a bit quieter, but you really did miss them when you were gone, and it almost became just a part of the woodwork. Having that it was almost like a sense of glory looking to upwards for an answer or something like that. And it almost added like a spiritual element to it, like this person almost became a religion or something like that. I think the old school stylings of the keys with the whole tones of the strings just laid really nice clearance to the drums, the percussion, where we just had that groove on the kit with the chord notes, nice and slow, taking our time with it, not feeling the need to rush, not overcomplicating the grooves and rhythms and patterns, simply moving forward with that big fill at the end where they got to have their big moment, with Sinead having the limelight 99% of the time, because this is her show. I like the fact that the musicians had an opportunity to be able to have their moment in the sun and to appreciate that. I think that the backing in general rhythmically was fantastic. There was lots of room for it in the mix and absolutely no filler. All in all, it was a sensational performance with a lot of chemistry between the members involved. I think that they provided a really ample platform to Sinead to be able to do her thing, and the theme itself was one of mild frustration, but happiness to have known the person, or at least having, it's almost like we were happy that we realized that we made the mistake of leaving the person. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a sad or depressing situation there, unless it was deliberately made to be that way, and it was to kind of hide how kind of dire it was for Sinead. But at the same time, I just don't think that given her performance and the way she's singing and the story she's telling, that it would have made creative or any kind of sense for her to have dulled down the backing to make room or allowances for having a sort of a sense of making it sort of more palatable for people wanting an easier listening experience. I think that it was legitimately just the sound that we wanted to process these feelings and thoughts, and it was appropriate. So the motif made sense to me. I think the performance was good. The vocals as well, the story were great. It's just the studio recording, mixing and mastering where I'm really, really happy with how this sounded. I thought it was an industry grade commercial production. The vocals, strings, pianos, drums, etc. All the elements there were fantastic and nice and present in the mix. There were no weird resonant frequencies in the frequency spectrum. It was nice and wide in the stereo field. There's plenty of space and wiggle room in the dynamic range, Things weren't the same loudness the whole entire time. There was development there, and there's lots of room. Basically, it wasn't smothered. And I appreciate the fact that it was still nice and loud without pumping, so the dynamic range and limiting and bus compression were handled well. And finally, I also like the fact that for Sinead O'Connor, it was just a really raw vocal performance where there was very little filtering, effects, chain processing, or anything like that. Sinead could just sing and slammed it. And I'm really glad our opportunity to, watch this video today. So thank you for watching this review of Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Please go check out Sinead O'Connor's various social medias and YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SU Patrons video. Spiderhands out.